So we're really doing this, huh?
In my time. Yeah. Rolling, I can never get enough. I've been up too long and I way too drunk, but we straight up in it.
So, as a puppet of the people, you all have spoken, and apparently the demand to see me run through Galar with an apple is in very high demand. So, as a man of the people, I have to oblige. Also, this one's for all the people who keep telling me to do a real run. This one's for it all. So, you know what? Let's do this. We're going into this just a boy and his apple. We're going to use items in battle, but only up to a certain point, and I'll explain why. Applin here, throughout our entire journey, would only have access to 3 moves. Astonish, Withdraw, and by TM, Attract, which we can't pick up until Route 5. Clearly, Applin is a bad Pokemon. I mean, just look at those stats. He's pretty bulky, and you know what? We'll take that. But enough about Applin. Are you ready to watch me suffer? Yeah? Well, alright then. Let's try to hit at least 110 likes to ease the pain, because I know at least 110 of you wanted this for me. Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell too so you never miss an upload. And leave your suggestions for the next challenge in the comments down below. Wasting no time hopping into this run, I immediately face my first challenge right after picking up my starter Applin, which I named Granny in honor of Granny Smith apples. Only to find out, Granny was actually a Gramps. But that's a minor detail, so moving on from that. Our first and immediate challenge turned out to be Hop. You see, since Wooloo is a normal type, and Applin only has a ghost type attacking move, I can't exactly hit it. I struggle stall. I managed to pull off this victory against Hop for our first battle, but already I am sweating. All I can think about are the amount of free heals that Hop gives me in the future, and if I'm doomed to struggle stall after every heal, this game is gonna be long. Anyways, as we enter Slumbering Weald, I'm immediately terrified of this Suavette because I thought I'd have to get back, struggle, and lose my mind. But then I had a brain blast and realized I can run away. Anyways, I can assure you my next 3 hours of footage is grinding, and that's it. I lose the second battle against Hop, and yeah, that's literally it. Nothing much happens, so let's do a little time travel, shall we? So, at this point we sign up for the gym challenge and have our first encounter with Team Yell. I've accepted my fate to struggle and proceeded to whittle my attacks back down so I can struggle and kill off this Zigzagoon. Everything is fine and dandy. After about 15 minutes I have no more PP and can start struggling. All is good in the world. I take on the second Team Yell member and take her out with ease. Then, out of nowhere, Hop comes in and heals me, at which point I lose it. So we're gonna make some changes to save what inkling of sanity I have left. You see, in order to win with a strategy of struggle stalling, I'd have to heavily rely on healing items, which violates one of the golden rules. No items in battle. So since I was of course sharing my screen in Discord so my friends could watch my suffering in real time, my friend Cal suggested I teach Applin rollout. It turns out, Applin here was holding out on us. If we take into account egg moves, Applin can learn a whopping total of 7 moves. So we're going to pretend this was an egg and got rollout from its egg move. And from this point on, that means no more items. And if you want to get technical about it, I can't even give you an answer if you can beat this game without rollout because I'm not going to do that. I have maybe 1, maximum 2 brain cells left, and I fear that if I tried to beat this game using only struggle, I would lose both of them. Anyways, moving on to my next battle against Hop, aka the first battle with rollout, we absolutely smashed it and I'm beyond happy. You see, the thing with rollout is it hits 5 times, each time doubling the power. So it starts off at 30, then moves up to 60, 120, 240, and finally 480. It is quite possibly the saving grace of this run. Moving right along, our Bead 1 battle was quite easy as Astonish actually just kind of did the job for the most part. I really don't expect him to get difficult until later on in the game when he's got some stronger fairy types. Taking on Milo, we were like 10 levels or so above, so I wasn't expecting this to be difficult in the slightest, and much to my surprise, it wasn't. I didn't even need a Dynamax to take home the dub on this one. Anyways, after taking down Milo, we jump on over to Route 5 and pick up the TM Attract, thus finishing our moveset for this run. We encounter Hop again after taking down Milo, and since I'm no longer afraid of his sheep, we take him down with relative ease. Next up is Nessa. Nessa actually gave me a bit of a hard time. I think it took me like 2 attempts. The first time I kind of went in guns blazing, not realizing I was 1 out of PP on Astonish and 2, pretty much dead from running through the gym trainers. So taking on Nessa again, I actually healed myself and restored my PP up, and also gave Applin an Oran Berry to recover some health in a pinch. I take down Goldeen with some Astonishes, and from there it's pretty much just rollout. Down goes Aeroscuda, and at this point I've set myself up for a +3 rollout for Dreadnought and luck out with getting the +5 and absolutely smashing her G-Max Dreadnought. All in all, it was a pretty easy fight. After Nessa, we do some more unimportant story stuff and encounter Beat again, who goes down with ease from our super duper strong Apple Boy. But due to my lack of awareness after fighting Beat, I walk right into a trainer and die. Content, baby! Kabu was my first real challenge for a gym leader, which I was expecting. He completely cripples physical attackers with his burns, and it's just all around not a good time. So the first battle I kinda just threw myself into the fire right away, which ended terribly. I pretty much died on Ninetales. Attempt number 2 didn't end up much better as the burn plus Arcanine's Intimidate rendered me useless, and I missed the 4th rollout. Attempt number 3 pretty much went the same way as before, but this time I found out Applin likes Aguav berries, so that's always something. Also, we got so close here, I just need to say. But we lost because we're a stupid slow apple. Can we have a short moment of silence for the closeness here? But because of that loss, we're now equipped with what we need to take him down next time. But what actually happened is I think I just got insanely lucky with Kabu missing his Will-O-Wisp, even though I also missed rollout, but then he misses his second Will-O-Wisp and I kill off Ninetales. As long as I can hit my 5 rollouts, all I have to deal with is the big bug. Scorch comes out and gets blasted by the 5th rollout, and because it's 4 times weak to rock and the move is base 480, even with the burn and attack drop from Intimidate, it's no match. Also, I just want to note my playtime at this point is 9 hours. My soul hurts. So before we move on, I'd like to invest a little bit in Applin's friendship, since if it comes down to it, I'd like to have it maxed out, just in case anything happens. And what better way to do that than to have Granny commit a bit of cannibalism. Hopping into the 4th gym, I get absolutely wrecked by this gym trainer and her Farfetch'd. Then I come back and wreck her, and then almost get wrecked by the last gym trainer, and then finally make my way onto B. B took way too many attempts, simply because I just kept getting steamrolled here because my rollout strat was negated because rock just isn't very effective. I set up my +6 defenses here on Applin, only to realize that I'm now half health without a berry to save my life. And then I just get countered by Hitmontop. In my second attempt, I ended up healing out of frustration because this gym was making my last brain cell scream. So for the last attempt before we won, I juiced up my Applin. Maybe it was a bit overkill, but I was tired of seeing Granny get walked all over. The only thing really stopping me in this fight was the lack of HP and defense to cover the damage I was taking. And to be fair, I'm finishing this run at level 100 anyway. Anyways, I set my defense to +3 with Withdraw. Smash that Dynamax button to use Max Phantasm, and get the defense drop, taking out Hitmontop, then Pangoro before shrinking back down. My plan on Farfetch'd is to flinch hacks it, only to find out it's got Steadfast. Anyways, that eventually drops and we can clean up this G-Max Machamp to secure our 4th badge. Also, I want to clarify, when I used that Super Potion, that didn't count as a win. That was just me getting frustrated and wanting to win, and then beating her and then resetting my game. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that little editor's note, if you will. After that, I go and stock up on citrus berries because they are pretty much going to be the best berries for me to hold, and some nice recovery options. I'm actually really scared of Opal because she's got a team full of glaring threats, but honestly I took her out with relative ease, so that's really that on that. Moving on, we have Opal harassing Bead. I barely beat Hop in this rival battle, and I'm left hanging on by a thread. And then we get possibly the best item possible in this run, the Wide Lens, boosting our accuracy by 10% and ensuring we never miss another rollout ever again. Then we clap Gordy like it's nothing. If you've been with the channel a while, you know my thoughts on Gordy, so yeah, 6th badge acquired. Following that, we have yet another battle with Hop, and this one actually took me about 5 tries and leveling up to 100 to manage to do. His stupid Corviknight kept obliterating me with Drill Peck. Anyways, once we set up our rollouts, it was pretty much just knock him down. Wii Sports bowling, if you will. Then we caught ourselves a little Marini here and named it Fodder, since you can't get into Pier's gym without a second Mon to roll with. Why I didn't go get another Applin is beyond me, but you know. Marnie beat me with some BS RNG plays here. I mean, crit poison? Who does that? Anyways, after coming back for revenge, we move on to the most challenging part of this run. The difficulty from here on ramps up quite a bit, so just assume that for most of these important battles, I ended up dying a lot. Piers though. Piers takes the cake. I lost almost 10 times to him and pretty much ended up relying on RNG to win. You see, I would roll out and go through his team up until Obstagoon, where it would either obstruct first turn or counter. So I basically had to set myself up to roll out perfectly and pray to God he would choose counter and not ruin my life. I also had to swap into Fodder to clear some of the status drops. Anyways, after finally getting the W on this one, we move on to Raihan, which wasn't actually as difficult as I thought it would be. Raihan took about 5 tries to beat, and since I couldn't use items, I decided to make use of Fodder here for target practice. I, of course, roll-outed his entire team because what did you expect me to do? Something different? I knew I needed a 5er to even have an inkling of a chance at killing his G-Max Duraludon. And because I had some help from Fodder's Toxic Spikes and Baneful Bunker, I was able to use some of the poison, taking down Raihan's last 2 Mons here. In comes Duraludon, and I know I've got like 1 chance at taking this bulky mother trucker down. I hit him with the max Phantasm move to drop down his defenses, and I pretty much just have to pray to God here that I live. But then something magical happens. I get a crit. On my last turn, I get a crit and bring home the victory. I hate relying on RNG, but it's real nice when it plays out in my favor, I will admit. I also won't regret. From here on, it's pretty much just running through the Tournament of Trainers again. I take Marnie out with relative ease. Hop goes down as well. Oleana goes down with relative ease. Bead gives me a bit of trouble, but after 1 or 2 tries, I managed to figure out the strategy there as well. Nessa is about as hard as she was the first time. B was also one that was a bit of a challenge, probably taking about 2 or 3 tries. Once I figured out the pacing of my rollouts, a lot of the hard fights actually became pretty easy. Anyways, I actually end up attracting her Machamp and stalling out Dynamax turns until I can just kill its normal form. That one was real satisfying, I'm not gonna lie. Now for the Raihan rematch. I definitely thought this was the end of the run. It took me so many tries that I was ready to just throw the towel in. It was then that everything changed. I kinda just gave it one last hurrah. I start the battle off with a Dynamax and a Max Rockfall, dropping the Torkoal before it can yawn me, rinse and repeat on this Turtonator, and out comes Flygon to set my plan in motion. I use Max Phantasm for a defense drop. From here, I astonish it to get into rollout Oko range. I actually mess up and Applin gets a crit, but that's okay. We start building up rollouts here on Goodra, getting up to 3 before Duraludon comes out. And I'm actually in disbelief that I'm still half health here. I get my +4 rollout off, live, and then live the following turn with 4 HP. 4. I'm in disbelief that we managed to pull that off, but hey, I'll take it. Rose actually gave me some trouble, but again, once I figured out the pacing of my rollouts and managed to not die to a Scavalier's Mega Horns, this one wasn't that hard. I flinch, attract hacks, Berserker here, start building my rollouts up, and by the time Copperajah comes out, I hit it with the +5 rollout and take it down, securing my victory against the chairman himself. The first Eternatus battle actually took me like 3 tries because my brain's fried at this point. The second one, I honestly just mashed A and hoped that I didn't die. I must have done something right because we won. And here's where we messed up and I realized it. You see, normally in these runs I choose Grookey at the start of the game, so I know Leon's team pretty well. Well, this time I chose Scorbunny. Choosing Scorbunny gives Leon a Mr. Rhyme, which is an Ice type, which we are quad weak to. That, coupled with our not so great special defense, that, my friends, means we are in for a tough time. No matter what, he gets his attack off first, and that's always a hard hit we don't want to take, because Haxorus just comes in and cleans up. I think if I had more time, I could have RNG'd or hacked my way to victory, but at this point, I've probably spent about 40 hours on this challenge. It's Friday night, and in order to keep my upload schedule of Saturday at 5 p.m. EST, I've got to call it. I'll take it though. We made it all the way to the frickin' champion with an Applin. Anyways, until next time guys, I've got to go put some ice on my head because this shit hurted.